Shalom, I'm Rabbi David, and today I'm going to show you something that sounds impossible. How to turn $100 into $100,000 per month. Not per year, per month. Now, before you click away thinking this is some get-rich-quick scheme, let me tell you, I've done this 3 times. I've helped dozens of students do this, and the formula I'm about to share with you is 3,000 years old. It's hidden in the Torah. It's been used by the most successful Jewish entrepreneurs throughout history. And it works whether you're in New York, Lagos, Mumbai, or anywhere else in the world. But here's what you need to understand. This isn't about luck. It's not about connections. It's not even about having a great idea. It's about following a specific sequence, a formula that compounds your efforts in a way that seems almost miraculous. But it's not a miracle. It's math, it's strategy, and it's spiritual law. By the end of this video, you're going to know the exact 7-step formula. You're going to understand the Torah principles behind each step. And you're going to have a clear action plan to start today, even if all you have is $100. Let me start with my story. When I was 28 years old, I had failed at 2 businesses. I was in debt, I had a family to feed, and I had exactly $127 to my name. I went to my Rebbe, my teacher, and I said, "I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to get a job and forget about entrepreneurship." He looked at me and said, "David, do you know the story of the widow's oil?" I said, "Yes. It's in 2 Kings chapter 4. A widow comes to the prophet Elisha. She's in debt. Her creditors are coming to take her children as slaves. All she has is a small jar of oil. And Elisha tells her, "Go, borrow empty vessels from your neighbors, not a few. Then pour your oil into all these vessels." She does it, and the oil keeps flowing. 1 jar, 2 jars, 10 jars, 20 jars. And it's like money. You'll spend it, and it'll be gone. But if you treat it like a seed, you'll plant it, and it'll multiply. Here's what you do with your first $100. You invest it in knowledge, not in inventory, not in advertising, not in a logo, in knowledge. Buy a course, buy books, pay for access to someone who's already where you want to be. I took my $127 and bought a course on copywriting. Why copywriting? Because it's the skill of persuasion. And if you can persuade, you can sell anything. That course taught me how to write emails that get people to take action. Within 2 weeks, I used that skill to get my first client. I charged them $500 to write a sales page. I had planted $127 and harvested $500. That's a 4x return in 2 weeks. But here's where most people stop. They take the $500 and spend it. They think, "I made it." No, you planted 1 seed and got 1 harvest. Now you need to plant again, but bigger. Step 2. The multiplication principle. In Hebrew, harbe, multiply greatly. In Genesis 1:28, God's first command to humanity is, "Be fruitful and multiply." Not add, multiply. Addition is linear. Multiplication is exponential. When you have $500, you don't buy 5 courses, you buy 1 skill that multiplies your output. For me, it was learning how to build a simple website. I paid $200 for a course on website building. Within a week, I had a basic site where people could hire me. Now, instead of waiting for clients to find me through word of mouth, I could send them to a website. I could look professional. I could collect payments online. That $200 investment allowed me to charge $1,000 per project instead of $500, and I could take on 3 clients at once instead of 1. In 1 month, I made $3,000. I had turned 500 into 3,000. That's 6x in 30 days. But again, most people stop here. They take those 2 investments. I could now handle 6 clients per month instead of 3. At $1,000 per client, that's $6,000 per month. I had doubled my income in 60 days. But here's where it gets interesting, because now I had a decision to make. And this is where the 4th step comes in. Step 4, the leverage principle. In Hebrew, koach, strength, but also leverage. In Deuteronomy 8:18 it says, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." The word for ability in Hebrew is koach. It means strength, but it also means leverage. God doesn't give you wealth. He gives you the power to create wealth. And that power is multiplied through leverage. There are 3 types of leverage: people, systems, and media. At $6,000 per month, I was still trading time for money. Yes, I had help, but I was still the bottleneck. Every project needed me. So I made a radical decision. I took $3,000 and hired a junior copywriter. I paid them $1,500 per month. I trained them for 2 weeks using the same course I had bought. Then I gave them the simpler projects. I charged clients $1,000, paid my writer $500, and kept $500. But here's the key. I wasn't doing the work anymore. In the first month, my writer handled 2 projects. That's $1,000 in profit for me, without me working. I still handled 4 projects myself, making $4,000, total $5,000. It looks like I went backwards, right? But watch what happens. Month 2, my writer can now handle 4 projects. That's $2,000 in profit for me, 0 hours of my work. I handle 4 projects myself, $4,000, total $6,000. Same as before, but now I'm working half the hours. Month 3, I hire a second writer. Now I have 2 people handling 4. She had to have faith that the oil would keep flowing. I had to have faith that if I built something valuable and put it in front of people, they would buy. In the first month, I sold 15 courses. That's $4,500 in revenue. Minus the $2,000 in ads, I netted $2,500. Plus the $6,000 my writers were generating, I was at $8,500 per month. But here's what's beautiful. Those 15 customers, they started telling their friends. Month 2, I sold 30 courses with the same ad spend. That's $9,000 in revenue, minus $2,000 in ads, $7,000 profit. Plus the $6,000 from my writers, $13,000 per month. Month 3, I sold 50 courses. That's $15,000 in revenue, minus $2,000 in ads, $13,000 profit. Plus $6,000 from writers, $19,000 per month. I had gone from $6,000 to $19,000 in 3 months, and I was working less than I ever had. But I still wasn't at $100,000 per month. For that, I needed step 6. Step 6. The compound principle. In Hebrew, ribbit, which actually means interest but represents exponential growth. In the Torah, charging interest to your brother is forbidden. But there's a deeper principle here. Interest is compound growth. It's growth on top of growth. And while we don't charge interest to exploit people, we do use the principle of compounding to build wealth. At $19,000 per month, I had 3 income streams: my writers, my course, and I had started doing a bit of consulting at $5,000 per client. But each stream was separate. They weren't feeding each other. So I created a funnel. I offered a free mini-course on my website. People would sign up, get value, and then I'd offer them my full course for $300. About 10% of people who on the group coaching calls and the occasional private client. But to get to $100,000 per month, I needed the 7th and final step. Step 7. The partnership principle. In Hebrew, shutafut, partnership. In Ecclesiastes 4:9, it says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. The Torah constantly emphasizes partnership. Abraham and Lot, Moses and Aaron, David and Jonathan. Wealth is built faster together. At $65,000 per month, I was the bottleneck again. I was the only one who could do the group coaching. I was the only one who could take private clients. My income was capped by my time. So I brought in a partner, someone who had gone through my program, had gotten results, and had the same heart for teaching. I offered them 40% of all new revenue they generated. They would run their own group coaching program under my brand. They would take on private clients, and I would support them with my systems, my audience, and my expertise. In the first month, they generated $15,000. I took 60%, which was $9,000. My total income? $74,000 per month. But here's the magic. They started creating their own content, their own testimonials, their own success stories. And that attracted more people to the brand. My course sales went up. My group program filled faster. Within 3 months, my partner was generating $30,000 per month. I was taking $18,000 from their work, and my own income streams had grown to $85,000. Total, $103,000 per month. I had done it. From $127 to over $100,000 per month in 18 months. And the beautiful thing? I was working 15 hours per week. I had time for my family, time for Torah study, time for my community. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about me. This is about the formula. And the formula works because it's based on principles that are woven into the fabric of creation. Let me summarize the 7 steps. Step 1. Seed. Take customers ascend. Step 7. Partnership. Bring in people who can do what you do. Give them a percentage. Scale through people, not just systems. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Rabbi, this sounds great, but I don't have a skill. I don't know what to sell. I'm starting from zero. Let me tell you something. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from $100 and a decision, and that's more than most people ever start with. In the Talmud, there's a teaching. Who is wise? He who learns from every person. You have life experience. You have knowledge. You have something that someone else needs. Your job is to figure out what that is and package it. Maybe you're good at organizing. Offer virtual assistant services. Charge $25 per hour. Get 4 clients. That's $100 per hour, $400 per week, $1,600 per month. That's your seed. Maybe you're good at social media. Offer to manage someone's Instagram. Charge $500 per month. Get 3 clients. That's $1,500. That's your seed. Maybe you're good at cooking. Offer meal prep services. Charge $100 per week per family. Get 5 families. That's $500 per week, $2,000 per month. That's your seed. The skill doesn't matter. What matters is that you start. You plant. You follow the formula. And here's the spiritual truth that undergirds all of this. God wants you to prosper. In 3 John 1:2 it says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." Prosperity isn't just for a select few. It's not just for people with degrees or connections or lucky breaks. It's for anyone who aligns themselves with the principles of creation. Seed, multiplication, reinvestment, leverage, scale, compound, partnership. These aren't just business principles, they're spiritual laws. And when you follow them, you're not just building wealth, you're fulfilling your purpose. Because wealth isn't the goal, wealth is the tool. The goal is going to learn with your first $100. I read every comment. I'll encourage you. I'll guide you. You're not alone in this. And if this video gave you clarity, if you now see a path forward, subscribe to this channel. Next week, I'm going to show you the 3 biggest mistakes people make when trying to scale from $10,000 to $100,000 per month, and how to avoid them. Remember what God told Joshua in Joshua 1:8, "Meditate on the Torah day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful." Success isn't a mystery. It's a formula. It's obedience to principles. It's faith in action. You have everything you need. Now go build. Shalom, and until next time.